This is Sneaker Gears. My name is Levi, and welcome to the first episode of TechGearz. Now, a lot of you may not know, but I actually worked at Apple for over 5 years. I worked at Tesla for almost 2 years. I've been involved in the tech community. I love cameras, and just recently, I would say in the last probably 8 to 9 months, I started to get into more digital cameras. Now, when I first started my YouTube channel, it was just on an iPhone. Actually, this is the XS. Before this, I think I had the iPhone 7, and I did this for a while. And when it was time to get a new phone, I made the choice, should I spend that money, which nowadays you're spending about $1,000 anyway, or should I spend it on a camera and a lens and something that is going to hopefully up the production quality, as well as allow me to make some money in other areas where I can be creative. Now, I say all that to really talk about the first subject in the first episode, and that is, what is the best first camera to get if you're starting a YouTube channel, and let's say you don't want to use your iPhone. Let's jump right into it. So you're starting a YouTube channel, and especially during this quarantine or stay-at-home time in early 2020, there's been a lot of new YouTube channels, and I love seeing it. There's some really great production quality, and honestly, you guys can start it with just your iPhone. But the first camera a lot of people look at and has gotten a lot of notoriety is the Canon M50. So like a lot of you and a lot of reviewers who say this is the best starting camera and this is the one you should get, that was the first camera I got. Now, I got it quite a few months ago. That was my first camera, and it just felt like a cheap little camera. It's plastic, it's very light. There's nothing wrong with it, but it just felt like it was trying to be the big brother. If you look at like the Canon EOS R, some of the more expensive brethren. Now, all that said, that's how it looks and feels. That doesn't really matter. But when I started using it, I really did like the colors I got out of the camera. I really did like the autofocus. They have their phase detection or whatever it's called, and it worked flawlessly. I don't have to worry about it. And I like that I could have done 4K, but I had a lot of limitations in 4K, meaning it didn't have the great autofocus. And if you did 4K, it had a huge crop mode on top of already being a cropped camera. So it was something you really had to back up from the camera quite a bit just to get any use out of it. So it really wasn't something you're going to focus on using 4K for. So coming from an iPhone user, I'm like, I don't need 4K just yet. You know, maybe I want to grow into that, but I definitely want to do 1080p, and the M50 does excel in that. It does have your microphone input. It does have a nice flip out screen. And all that said, I thought I had a winner. So what's the main reason I'm going to tell you and everyone else not to get the M50? And the biggest reason is going to be future upgradability. When you buy an M50, you're locked into a lens system that Canon calls their EF-M. So you can use some of their EF lenses, which they've done for a long time, but all of Canon's new lenses that are amazing and the lenses they're coming out with is their RF lenses. And these are lenses you can't use. So you're stuck either using old lenses, or if you look at their EF-M lenses available, those lenses are only available for very few cameras. The M6, the M50, maybe one or two more. And Canon hasn't really invested any time or money into coming out with these small compact lenses that they really want. So luckily, the M50 is a camera that is not terribly expensive. I believe it's about $650. I'll post the link here. And I was able to get it for about $480. So it was a really great deal at the time. And honestly, used ones are going for about $500. So I thought, you know what, let me just keep it. And if I have to sell it, I'll sell it. But honestly, within that month, looking that I wouldn't be able to really upgrade, if I wanted to get another Canon, those two cameras wouldn't have anything to do with each other. I couldn't share the batteries, I couldn't share the lenses, I couldn't really have an upgrade path, is what it's really called. So the biggest reason to not get an M50 is you're really stuck in that camera without any upgrade path or getting any second or third camera if you wanted to add to your collection. So it becomes almost at the very beginning a waste of money. Especially now when you look at the capabilities of the iPhone Pro with the 11 and obviously the 12 coming out, it really makes you think, okay, if you're going to get an actual digital camera, it better be better than what we're getting from our mobile cameras. So obviously I ended up leaving that system, the Canon M50 and the EFM system, and went back to what I used for my first camera. And my first camera was initially the Sony NEX5, which was the first kind of APS-C camera, the first kind of lens swappable camera that was still super small. And I looked at some of the options I was going to be able to get to replace the Canon. Now, before I told you what I got, I just wanted to let you guys know what I passed up on. I'm going to go over my story in the next episode, and obviously if you guys have any questions or my thoughts on that, I'd be happy to help out. But as far as what's next, you guys can kind of take a look behind me. I really jumped into the Sony ecosystem, and that's not without me taking a look at what Fuji had to offer, looking at different price points, looking at what Nikon had coming out. I got to be honest, didn't look at Pentax or Olympus, just to be fair, but between price, between upgradability, between what's coming out in the future and how I can add to that set, I ended up going with Sony. So stay tuned if you guys like that video. I'll be going over what I did next, what I have now, and what I recommend. This is Levi with Sneaker Gears on its first TechGearz talk. Really appreciate you guys, and I'll come at you later.